It's an important day today and a little bit scary. Today the crane is coming to take down the mast, and I would not be being quite honest if I didn't say that this didn't have me more than a little bit nervous. When our friends had their mast taken down in Guatemala, it was dropped, and then when it was put back up, they didn't exactly do the best job of I don't know if it was materials or workmanship, but their running rigging, or their standing rigging rather, ended up breaking. They were breaking strands in the wire rope while they were crossing the Pacific. So super scary. I am well aware that this is not Guatemala. I am well aware that there are much greater quality controls in place, but yeah, still a little scary. So they're already up top, on top of the boat right there, disconnecting stuff so that when the crane gets here, they're in good shape to get moving. So we'll see how long that takes. We're the second boat to get done today. It's already 7:30. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping that he'd be here already, but yeah, I guess that was wishful thinking. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Sean. Come along on our real-life adventures as we explore the world and boat life on our sailing catamaran Rome.
Now let's jump back into the episode and see what's going on. First things first, the boom had to be moved to the other side of the boat because it was sitting exactly where the mast would get placed once it came down. So Thor and the yard crew to the rescue. Fortunately, these guys are pros, and moving the boom was a quick and easy job. Removing the mast involves a lot of preparation before the crane even arrives to ensure it's a smooth process. This is one of those things you just don't want to get wrong because the consequence of failure is huge. Check out our friend's blog to find out just how badly things can go wrong. I'm not sure what they anticipated, but I certainly didn't foresee that loosening the turnbuckles would take 3 men nearly an hour, along with a significant amount of effort and sweat. It was far from an easy task. Our boatyard neighbor is having their mast unstepped, and it's really good to see the one before you go nice and smoothly. It's the kind of thing that I don't ever want to be first on the list. You know, I want them all warmed up. I want to make sure they've had their coffee and a nice breakfast and have one smooth procedure under their belt. It's kind of like surgery, I think. To give you some context, the crane service that the yard has relied on in the past has recently implemented a new policy requiring a man lift to accompany the crane. This added requirement has driven up the cost so dramatically that none of the 3 boats intending to remove their mast was willing to pay for it. Fortunately, a good workaround was found, and we were able to enlist a tree service for the task. Shawn has been around the logging industry since he was a kid and feels quite comfortable with this approach. He's well aware of the level of training and expertise necessary to take down large trees. In contrast, taking down a mast is a relatively straightforward process. This alternative also slashed the cost by nearly 50%, though it's still quite pricey. Luckily, we were able to share the cost with another boat, bringing our overall expense down significantly. The crane is all set up and ready to go, so let's get this party started. The way this works is someone is hauled up in a bosun's chair to the top of the spreader. In our case, that person was the most experienced guy in the yard. A heavy-duty strap is secured around the spreader with the ends attached to the crane hook, then he's lowered back to the deck. As long as the person going up the mast doesn't have a fear of heights, this part is easy. The most important thing is ensuring the strap is both strong enough and securely attached. Once the crane operator is satisfied with how the straps are set, the crane lifts the mast just enough to relieve the tension on the shrouds and the forestay. Now the team can start the process of removing the pins that secure the shrouds. This is where we hit a snag. The pins were stubborn and refused to move. Our yard crew put in a tremendous effort, banging, pounding, sweating, even letting out a few choice words, until the pins finally relented. Unfortunately, during the fight, one of the turnbuckle ears was damaged. Watching your stainless steel hardware bend like that is never a good sight. So we'll need to add new turnbuckles and attachment ears to the replacement list. Next, we simply need to fasten the shrouds and the forestay tightly enough to the mast to prevent them from flapping about while it's soaring through the air towards its new resting spot. Yikes, that sounds like it's taking a tumble. But not to worry though, it's just finding a temporary new home on the ground beside the boat, where we can shower with some much needed care and attention. Keep an eye out for future episodes where we will give the mast the full spa experience. As you watch the crane and crew at Zimmerman doing their thing, it's a perfect time to answer your burning question. Why are we taking down the mast, and what do we expect to uncover? We've got some broken hardware to deal with. One of the sheaves at the top of the mast blew apart, and the bits are most likely sitting at the bottom. This might have happened when the Jenniker halyard cover ruptured, or possibly the sheave breaking caused the halyard to fail. We're not sure which came first, but either way, it needs to be fixed. We've also got a few mast outlets that are either bent or broken, which isn't great. I'm not sure what the right term is, but I mean the holes on the mast where the lines come out from the inside. If you know the correct term, please drop it in the comments. In the end though, the main reason we're taking the mast down instead of just swapping out the hardware is because of corrosion. There are quite a few places where the paint is bubbling, which is a clear sign of corrosion. Honestly, most of it is probably okay, but since we're planning to sail across oceans with this boat, we're going to sand off the paint,
tackle the corrosion, and repaint the mast. This way, we can be totally sure we won't face any critical issues while we're out to sea. More than anything, this will give us peace of mind. We're already out of the water for this big refit, and getting us hauled is tricky since we're pretty fat. At 29 feet wide, there aren't many yards that can haul us, so we're going to take care of everything that needs to be done out of the water.
Good news. She's on the ground. Oh man, that was stressful. And I think it wound up being harder than anybody really expected because they couldn't get the pins out of the shrouds. So really secure. That's saying something, I guess. Now it's on the ground, and that is good news.
Thanks for cheering us on as we tackled the riskiest job so far. Be sure to catch us next time as we dive into the grossest boat job ever, taking out the poop hoses. Ugh. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more of this refit journey, think about subscribing to our channel. See you next time. Bye!